This backing track is all in the key of D major. 3 chords, chord 1, chord 6, chord 4, but throwing some extensions in there. The reason that's fun is it gives you some interest to play over. Broader, you can think of it as I said, a 1, 1, 6, 4, so D, B minor to a G major. Okay, the chords themselves are a D triad, okay, to a B minor, so it's B open D string, and then the C sharp and the E, so the 9 and the 11, to a G add 9. Okay, then we just add the D and the D sus. B minor, add the 7 this time, flat 7. Okay, and then here we add the C sharp. So it sounds almost like an A on G, I suppose, yeah. But again, all diatonic to the key of D. So let's have a look at some ideas that you can use when you're playing over this. All right, the first thing that I did at the very beginning, I started with the major 7, the C sharp. The most important thing when you're playing over is getting the scale under your fingers. Sure, and in this case the scale is, D major. Okay, you can think a D major pentatonic. Okay. In terms of notes, the D major pentatonic has the same notes as the B minor, but it starts from the B. The reason why that's important is because you've got some nice sort of box 1 minor pentatonic ideas that you can do. You really, because you're playing over a D chord, you can think of it as D major pentatonic. You're just using that B minor shape. But as I was saying, the idea is always any note that you choose is only ever relevant to what you're playing on top of. And that's where the interest comes in. So yes, get scales under your fingers and get, arpeggios under your fingers, but it's really about, and at the end of the day, picking interesting note choices, knowing the chord that you're playing on top of. So the first thing I did, and I've just got the looper going here, I'm going to come in with a major 7. It's a C sharp. C sharp against a D chord. It's quite a dissonant sound, but it's really quite beautiful. So put the looper on and we'll just see what that looks like. Second part of it. Okay, major 7. Okay, so again, playing a D major, B minor, G. So starting with that high C sharp over that D major chord. Then hitting F sharp up to A. Now again, these are strong chord tones. F sharp and A are the 3rd and 5th in a D major chord. But as you go into B minor, okay, that B minor sound, F sharp and A is the 5th and flat 7 of the B minor 7 chord. So again, this is, it sounds like it's really quite complicated, but the point is you always want to think of the chord you're playing on top of. That is going to determine the notes that sound the sweetest. Okay, then the second time round, I did the same rhythmic approach. Okay, but then instead it was started on the F sharp. Now the F sharp on top of a D chord is the 3rd, very, very strong color tone there. It's the indication whether it's major or minor, so it's always a good one to land on. And then the D to C sharp, okay, when you're on that B, okay, C sharp is in that B minor chord, and it's the 9 of the B minor chord. So that's the reason why that works so well as well. Some other ideas, if you want to play something that's sort of more at home, as I said, you can play the D major pentatonic, but you can think B minor in terms of a fingering. It's the same notes. So although it looks like the B minor scale, when you're playing it over a D chord, it's actually the D major pentatonic. When you go to the B minor chord, then it becomes B minor, and on the G chord it will work as well. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so every single note I played there was D major pentatonic, same notes as B minor box 1. So you can go really, really simply and just play minor pentatonic, and it works really well. But again, when you're thinking of the chords you're playing over, pick the nice notes from the scale, and that's gonna be your best friend. Now, of course, to do that, you need to understand theoretically what you're playing over, and you need to start training your ear as to what each note is going to sound like, when you play it on top of it. So, for example, if I wanted to pick the 9 on the D chord, let's have a listen to that. Okay, that 9 sounds really great across a major chord. It's always going to sound really great. Now, what about notes that you don't know whether they're going to sound good? Maybe you try a G. A G is that 4th against a major chord. Is it going to sound good? I don't know. Let's give it a go. Okay, so it's again another interesting sound. It wants to resolve, but sometimes you can land on it and stay on it. It really adds some tension into things. Other couple of ideas you can do is you can really lead into to the next note. So sometimes when you know you're going to loop around again, you can hold on a note, and then on beat 4 you can create a run, which will lead you into beat 1 of the loop. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so that last part there. On beat 4, excuse me, I waited for beat 4 to come around, and then basically went up, starting I suppose on the B minor shape, but then brought in that G and ended on an A. And the thing is, A, I know you're going around to the D chord again, and A is the 5th in D, so it's a very stable tone there. Okay, so a few ideas today. Have a think again about how the notes that you're playing over are going to be represented on the chord. It's all about the chords that you're playing over. Hopefully some good ideas there. Check out that backing track, and good luck. I'll see you next time.